Hello and welcome to our Hermitcraft UHC Season 12. This is Episode 3. And once again, this is post-commentary. Because I'm so alone in the game. And I think this time I'm going to talk about Hermitcraft UHC. Because I need something to talk about and it is something on the top of my head right now. Like, Hermitcraft UHC is something that, unlike our Hermitcraft, tends to have things change in an organization sense, season to season. With our Hermitcraft UHC, generally I get players by doing an application process. That's how I get players. And then date vote is, just a normal little date vote thing, and then the game. And then repeat, like, nothing too special there. Hermitcraft, I tend to change things. And sometimes it depends on the game mode, and sometimes it's just something I feel like trying. Like, for 45, I did require people to sign up. Because it does help. Because, well, it was a wish team season, so it does help if you know what most of your roster looks like, so you can actually do the wishes and plan out most of the teams ahead of time. And in other seasons, show up and play. And that works at times. Like my issue with doing predetermined teams in any way is the fact that people will sign up and then people will drop out unexplained, or they'll tell someone and they don't tell me. Like, that's my issue with too many of the predetermined teams things, or too many of the things that require people to sign up, because people will drop. If it's just based off a date vote, then it's different. But I do like trying different things, and like this just reflecting my current feelings on stuff. But for Hermitcraft 42, plans had to change various times because someone dropped and they didn't tell me, and well, they told someone else that, for all they knew, they could have not have told me. And that would have been a little frustrating. Like my frustration with it is I don't limit how many players we have in a season. I have a server good enough to deal with however many within reason. Like, I'm not expecting a 30-player season next season. It'd be nice to get 24 or something. But more than that would be stretching it. And part of that is I've been removing people and haven't really been adding too many people. Like this time last year, 44 had a game mode where there's reason to invite people from outside, where people can invite a friend and play with them. And I think that's a big reason why 24 had so many players. At one point, it's going to be, I think, 32 players. But dropouts and such tend to hurt that number a little bit. But 24 is still pretty good at the end. It's just something that, like, group building wise, I've been taking it easy because it's kind of difficult for me to decide on someone to add. Like the most recent additions, I have a good reason for adding them because I think they are genuinely great people, and I would love to have them around. That doesn't mean other people aren't genuinely good. It's either I don't know them or I don't feel like adding a bunch of people. And that's where the biggest difference between Snowcrack and our Hermitcraft is. Our Hermitcraft, I can count on anywhere from 30 to 100 applicants for a season. And it really depends on how much time I give, how many reminders I give. But generally, it's anywhere between 30 to 100 applicants. Then after mainly I do most of the weeding down, then usually Mark and someone else helps go further. Then we usually end up with about 8. 1 or 2 will drop out at some point. But we will end up with 8 new players for the new season. And like it's different because I can't know everyone I'm adding to our Hermitcraft UHC. Like that's the thing. I only have the application to base off of, or other things such as this guy is my moderator. You may as well be allowed to play, kind of thing. But most of them I have very little experience dealing with. And in general, people that are problems in the Discord will not succeed in their application. And that's a sucky thing to say, but if you make a bad impression being a pain in the Discord, then you're not going to be getting the same treatment that someone else that wasn't a pain in the Discord would get. And then something I do with all my groups that I organize that is jumping between 1.8 and 1.10, because different people have different tastes and different people like different versions for different reasons, and different game modes are good for different versions for different reasons, etc, etc. I do like doing that because it is refreshing to jump between the two. I don't like sticking to one version for this kind of thing because unless you have a really good reason to stick there, it tends to get boring. If you keep advancing, it's doing the same thing just with a newer version. That's why I like going back to 1.8 once in a while and then going back to 1.10. And then I have the EU server, and I'm not sure how that'll fit in with the shuffling of everything. Only time will tell. Largely, I think I'll just keep everything NA for now. Everything I organize NA for now. And that's something that I need to spend more time thinking about. Because with our Hermitcraft, there is a solid reason to go to an EU server. And then Snowcrack, there's a fair amount of people that would benefit from EU server once in a while. So, like, I don't know where exactly the EU server fits in. And it's something that I will think about. Like, it's something that takes time and takes energy and such to get planned out. And it's like getting subs, for example. 45, our subs were from within the Discord, which is fine. But like that takes away from being able to introduce someone new to the group. So I think I'm gonna move away from that for Snowcrack because it does take away the opportunity to add someone, especially someone that I'm iffy on if I want them there, but they can at least sub. And if they sub and like everything seems to go well and there aren't no issues or anything, I don't see a problem of bringing them back permanently. And I think that's the power of a lot of people to sub. And the trick is that is people like. You can't know everyone well enough to say that they'd be good, but you can, base things off of experiences that you've had with other people and then you can ask people, and it's a process. Then, like for future our Hermitcraft stuff, I won't be afraid to ask Snowcrackers to sub over here, but they won't be asked to stay permanently unless there's a really strong reason to keep them around. Like generally I want our Hermitcraft to have its own identity versus Snowcrack. And that was the big thing when our Hermitcraft was originally killed off for season 8. It was just pretty much a copy of Snowcrack. Most of the rosters were exactly the same, and that's the big reason why I started eliminating Snowcrackers in our Hermitcraft. And at this point, our Hermitcraft is starting to develop its own identity, its own roster. And those that wouldn't be, they would be limited, are actually at a point where I can let all those play if they want to, because enough of the others that were in that position dropped out, or generally just don't play anymore, where I don't have to feel like it's being another season of Snowcrack rather than its own thing. And looking at 2017, and 2017 was difficult because, well, my internet was having issues in the summer. I was moving during the fall, and like it was a mess between our Hermitcraft and Snowcrack. We didn't really play as many seasons as I wanted to, but that's entirely fine because now that I'm not moving, and now that I have decent internet that isn't that stable and such, it won't be hard to change a few things on my end, as in ways I organize these things, and have a couple, probably a season or two more per year. And it's something that, I don't know, we're gonna be about 3 seasons of Snowcracking last year, depending on when you start your count from. I'm going to count from 43, because that's the 4-year and the 5 years coming up. So that's 3 in a year. If I go from the day I'm recording this, I think it's 4, but anyway, numbers. So, like, generally in the past, it would be how I would organize these things post-game, at the beginning of play, is I, ask for someone to volunteer to make the intro. And after 3 weeks, I get an update and whatnot, and move forward, and if nothing is getting in the way, particularly the holidays, because I don't want to be trying to put anything together during the holidays if I can avoid it. So, get the season out, play it, and stuff happens. And that generally leaves about a month for an intro maker to make an intro. And the thing about that is, I feel like I'm wasting time that I could be using to get going with the next season while an intro is being made. And that's part of the reason why I haven't forced this out earlier, because if someone has started an intro, I want them to try to finish it. And stuff happens and things get slowed down, but I don't see a reason why I should be delaying something, delaying the next season. And I don't see a reason why an intro maker needs to feel stressed out about a new season coming up. Like, I'll give them a fair bit of time, and I think that's what I'm gonna move forward with. Especially since we don't have many render makers around. It'll be, in the future, it'll be me asking a render maker to make some renders. When the renders are done, hand them off to the intro maker. And independently of that, like 6 months after I don't know, I'm not going to ignore that, but no specific amount of time after the previous season has been played, start making plans for the next season, regardless of where the intro's at. And generally that will mean a month or so on top of that for the intro maker before the next season is played. Because generally with my date votes is I try to keep it 4 or 5 weeks before the first date on the date vote when I first post it. So that is a month right there, and that should be plenty of time. And it'll give me time to move forward while giving an intro maker time to continue their work. It's not something I could do. Like, I can't make intros. I'm not creative in that way. And I think it's time for me to change things up with that. Because, I don't know, like, sometimes, especially when I'm motivated, I don't want to have to wait for the intro. And it's like, I've been telling myself, I have to wait because the intro's not done. But if I move away from that, then I don't have to worry about it being done, because it will get done eventually. And I can move forward with my plans without causing any issues. But anyway, that will be it for this episode. Goodbye.